Om Hari Om. Om Jang Brahma Vishnu Varunendra Rudra Maruta Stunvanti Dibbaistavayir Vedais Sangopakramopanishadair Gayanti Jang Samaga Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Jang Yoginaha Yasyantang Navidussurasura Devaya Tasmai Namo Namah. Om. Our salutations to that Supreme Being who is one without a second, whom the sages call by various names. Our salutations to Him, whose glory has been sung through the rapturous hymns of the scriptures of the world, but whose limitless and infinite glory none can comprehend. But again, whom the sages and devotees realize within their hearts in their deepest contemplation. Him we salute again and again. May He shine in our hearts, manifest therein all His glory, and dispel all darkness and ignorance. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. I have taken for my subject one of the Beatitudes. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. In this Beatitude, Christ gives the central truth of all religions. If we study any religion of the world, we shall find that the purpose and goal of life has been to see God, to know God, to be united with God. And that is the one and only purpose of life and living. The question that arises, what is the proof for the existence of God? Theologians, philosophers have given many proofs to prove the existence of God, but that does not satisfy the heart of a spiritual aspirant. The true proof is that He can be known, He can be realized, He can be experienced. And when we see and know Him and realize Him, then is it that there comes fulfillment. This has been beautifully expressed by Jesus when He said to the woman in Samaria, whosoever drinketh of the water shall thirst again, but whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. Again, Christ says, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth in me shall never thirst. If we analyze ourselves, we shall find that there is always a lack, a feeling of lack in every one of us. We are seeking to satisfy our hunger and thirst. And for the moment we may satisfy, but then again there is the feeling of lack. The sick man wants health. The poor man wants to be rich. The rich man wants to be wealthier. And even when we have health, wealth, and success, and everything that this world can give us, still there's a lack. And outward achievements can never satisfy the inner heart. And it is because in every one of us, as Swami Vivekananda pointed out, in every one of us there is that divinity. God is dwelling within. And that divinity is trying to unfold itself. First, we try to seek to find fulfillment in the outside world. Just like, to give an illustration, the musk deer. The deer grows musk in its navel. He gets the fragrance. He does not know where from the fragrance is coming. He thinks it is coming from outside. So he runs to catch hold of that fragrance. He runs here, he runs there, and everywhere until he dashes himself against a stone and kills himself. That is the situation with mankind. We get that fragrance, the fragrance of God within us. It is the urge to unfold that Godhead. And it is only when we understand that, then is it that we begin to understand what spiritual life means. The modern psychologists have a very interestingly meaningful expression, integrated personality. But where is that true personality? Is it the physical man or the mental man? The physical, the body, the mind, the senses, they are all undergoing changes from moment to moment. The true personality is in spirit, in the self. According to the Indian psychology, man is spirit and is encased in sheaths, physical, subtle, and causal. And through ignorance, man has forgotten himself. He does not know that he is the spirit, but he is identifying himself with the body, mind, senses. And thus, he lives in ignorance. While we are awake, We are living within these seeds, identifying ourselves with the body and the mind, while we are dreaming, though we are not identifying ourselves with the physical seed, we identify ourselves with the mind. Then again, we are in deep sleep. There is no consciousness there. And within these three states, the Spirit or God within us remains hidden. And that is why again, all the great teachers point out to us that we have to be born again. We have to be born in spirit. Buddha calls that awakening. We are asleep. We have to be awakened. As Sri Krishna says, fools pass blindly by the place of my dwelling, here in this human form, and of my majesty they know nothing at all, who am the Lord, their soul. That God is dwelling within, this is not recognized until that awakening comes. Christ points out that in order that we can find God, we must achieve that purity of heart. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. What is really meant by purity? And how to achieve that purity of heart? Of course, every religion teaches certain ethical principles, such as truthfulness, chastity, non-covetousness. But one may have practiced all these virtues, yet one may not necessarily have the vision of God. Purity of heart means something more. In the words of Jesus, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. In other words, single-minded devotion to God. When you achieve that, then is it that you have achieved purity of heart. You see, if you try to think of God, to meditate upon God, then you realize that you have not that single eye. The moment you try to concentrate, the moment you try to gather all the forces of your mind and direct towards God, you find so many distractions arising. And why? Because your heart is not pure. As in the Gita we read, in this yoga, the will is directed singly toward one ideal. When a man lacks discrimination, his will wanders in all directions after innumerable ends. So our heart must look towards that one ideal with single-minded devotion to God. And in order that that can be achieved, first thing necessary is discrimination. To discriminate between that which is eternal and that which is non-eternal. And so convince yourself that God is the one reality, the one truth, that is eternal. Consider Him the one treasure of your life. And as Jesus says, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Now again, what is exactly meant by this single-pointed devotion? Does that mean that we shall have to give up all duties of life, give up all action? No. But in and through every activity, in and through everything in life, we must learn to find God. As in the Gita, we read, whosoever works for me alone, makes me his one goal, and is devoted to me, free from attachment, and without hatred toward any creature, that man, O Prince, shall enter into me. Now again, every religion gives us methods and means by which we can achieve that single-minded devotion. For instance, there are 4 stages. First is known as worship of God. Second stage is to chant the name of God. Third stage is to meditate upon God. And lastly, to realize our identity with God. Now, if a man is asked to meditate and to realize immediately his identity with God, he finds it difficult. Because the mind goes naturally outward. And so he starts to see God in an image, in a picture, in a church, in a temple, and try to worship Him by feeling His presence there. And then, when the heart becomes interested in God, then one begins to feel interest in chanting the name of God. Now again, as he goes on chanting the name of God, there comes that recollectedness, and constant recollectedness arises. And then one begins to meditate properly and right. What is meditation? It is just like oil poured from one vessel to another. There is a continuity of consciousness. You see, as it is, our mind cannot hold a thought more than a fraction of a second. And then there comes another thought, or there comes a gap. Through practice of japam, repeating the name of God, through practice of worship, and through selfless service, the mind becomes prepared. When the mind can continuously think of God. And through such practice again, one begins to feel that God is not far away. He is within each one's heart. And when he begins to feel that presence, living presence of God within himself, then it becomes easy. Everything becomes easy. Then you begin to be free from any pain or suffering or misery. Anything of the external world cannot cause to lose the balance of your mind. And then, gradually, there comes a time when there is a constant recollectedness of God. While awake, while you are asleep, you are sleeping with God. You are dreaming of God. And in every action, you begin to see God. And then you attain to that state which is beyond the three states of waking, dreaming, and dreamless. And that is superconsciousness. And superconsciousness is God. If I may sum up the whole truth of religion, I can point out 4 propositions. God is, He can be known and realized. That is the one purpose of life. And there are many ways to reach God. Almost every other religion claims that his path is the only path. But in Vedanta and in the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna, you find that how it has been demonstrated that every religion is a path. And if we study Vedanta again, we shall find that all the many paths are to be found in that religion. To quote the words of Vivekananda, the eternal Vedantic religion opens to mankind an infinite number of doors for ingress to the inner shrine of divinity, and places before humanity an almost inexhaustible array of ideals, there being in each of them a manifestation of the Eternal One. With the kindest solitude, with the kindest solicitude, the Vedanta points out to aspiring men and women the numerous roads hewn out of the solid rock of the realities of human life by the glorious sons or human manifestations of God in the past and in the present, and stands with outstretched arms to welcome all, to welcome even those that are yet to be, to that home of truth and that ocean of bliss wherein the human soul, liberated from the net of Maya, may transport itself with perfect freedom and with eternal joy. Om Hari Om. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrittor Ma Amritangamaya Abid Maiti Rudrajatte Dakshinang Mukhang Tena Mang Pahi Nityam. Oh, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from death to immortality. Lead us from darkness to light. Light us through and through, and guide us evermore with thy loving presence. Oh, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace.